Hey guys, this is Drax back with another Battlefront 2 video, and this time I'll be ranking all the maps currently available in the Galactic Assault mode. This video has been requested by quite a few subs on the channel, so I thought it was about time I let you guys know the order that I placed them in. Remember, this is my opinion on these maps, so after watching feel free to share your own rankings in the comments. There is of course 12 Galactic Assault maps currently in the game, 3 from the prequels, 5 from the originals and 4 from the sequels. We haven't had any new maps for quite a while now in this mode, so here's hoping we will get another one in with the remainder of Season 2. But for now, let's get on with the video. Starting in last place, I have to ask the question, why does everyone want to go back to Jakku? The answer being nobody wants to go back to Jakku. This map has huge design flaws, with one of the worst defensive points on the game known as the west exit on the third phase. You have 2 tiny doorways to get through when you're attacking, and without a very good team it just isn't happening. There's no real balance to it, and I have to say that the Jakku map on the last game was much better. I just don't find the map on this game fun to play on. Next up is Takodana in 11th place, one of the greenest places in the galaxy. Sadly, that won't help it on this list. The opening stage is poorly designed with that large open area as a capture point, and it's a fairly small map with the final capture zone being inside Maz's castle, most of the time of which is undefended, as people often forget to defend the capture area and are all up on the roof. Seems to happen every time I play it. It's funny that even the resistance leader, when speaking at the beginning, acknowledges everyone's dislike towards Takodana. Then we have Kashyyyk, which gets the number 10 spot, mostly as it's just too big. 20v20 on this map just feels wrong. It's a nice map, but you often find you have trouble seeing anyone, as people are often all the way at the back sniping. This is nearly always the case. I would have rather have seen a map like this in a 30v30 mode. Further to that, starfighters have pretty much free run here, and worst of all, you'll often find your audio cutting out, at least on the PC. I'm not sure why this happens on Kashyyyk, but it seems to be the main map it occurs on the most. It started off as one of my favourites, but over time I have come to dislike it for the reasons mentioned. Moving on, we get Starkiller Base, which is our number 9, another one of those sequel maps. Starfighters once again rule this map even when you're playing as the First Order. Those so-called AA cannons you are protecting at the beginning do nothing at all, which makes little sense to me. And the LIUVs are another problem. 200 battle points to spawn in with crazy anti-infantry capability. You can shoot infantry or crush them. These vehicles just rack up tons more battle points in a very short amount of time. Simply put, they just don't cost enough to spawn in. Overall, it's not bad once you get inside, but outside I feel the vehicles dominate a bit too much. Tatooine takes number 8 as there is just too much sand. It's literally everywhere. Yes, that is a problem, but there are bigger problems here known as ATSTs. They are just too strong in this very cramped map. They dominate from the moment they spawn in up until the last stage, where thankfully they can influence the final part of the fight. I don't really feel like there's anything wrong with the actual flow of the map, it's just that the rebels have no good counter to those ATSTs on the ground. Then Hoth comes in at the 7th spot with some more of those problems I spoke about for the other maps. Personally, I think it's way too open at the beginning, meaning snipers and vehicles like the starfighters are just too strong here. More ice caves so you can find more cover would be my suggestion, with better spawns to avoid being killed too quickly on the opening stage. Inside, I do think the map improves a lot. There's good capture point locations and balanced spawns, making it an enjoyable map to play on 2 out of 3 phases. Crate is next as the highest ranking sequel map in my list, coming in at number 6. Introduced with The Last Jedi season, I have mostly enjoyed my time on this map. I'm not a big fan of the starfighters and ATSTs, but I do enjoy using those ski speeders and the large scale sniping battles that take place at the start. It has a good variation as you go from the open soap flats at the beginning to the cramped crystal caves at the end. What's funny is this map actually produces a better ending fight in comparison to the one that we actually saw in the film. In 5th place I have Endor, and yes, it does start out rough as I'm not really a fan of that command station area, but it soon opens up once the walker is activated with good map design throughout. The final stage sees the Empire push back into a last stand situation, and although cramped, I have had some good battles here. All the vehicles feel more balanced on Endor as it's bigger with more places to hide away or avoid trouble. It's well balanced on all the spawns and one of the maps I can remember being fond of right at the launch of the game, so I felt that it deserved this spot at number 5. Kamino comes in at the 4th spot with an epic Clone Wars battle. Sometimes just playing the game, getting battle points, you forget how epic this game can be. But take a look around the Kamino and you'll realise that DICE knows what they're doing when it comes to making Star Wars feel real. We have Trident assault droids drilling into the sides of the facility, with some landing over captured areas, striking fear into the clone army. It's really a great battle from start to finish, with my only negatives being starfighters once again, and that pesky LAAT gunship, otherwise known as the green beam of death. Really, it's only that one outside phase that I have a problem with. Inside, the battle is always intense as the droids push forward to overtake the facility. I really enjoy the very last stage here. So now we move into the top 3, and starting us off here we have the Death Star version 2. No vehicles in this one, just a pure infantry fight from start to finish. Sabotage was my favourite game mode on Battlefront 1, and in truth the Death Star map here is just a bigger game of Sabotage. It's got a good flow to it with well placed objectives and spawns, which makes it enjoyable to play throughout. Sometimes it can be a bit hard for rebels on the first stage, but most of the time it's a real good fight. Then we have Yavin, which gets 2nd place on my list, and to be honest I didn't realise how much I liked this map until I made this list. It's just a perfect map in many ways. It's very large with good progression between objectives and capture zones. ATSTs feel more balanced on this one with more cover and ways to take them out. It all leads up to an end stage which forces you to battle it out in close quarters, which often has produced great fights for me, so I always look forward to playing on Yavin. A map I feel deserves the 2nd spot here. So now we have the number 1 spot, and if you haven't guessed by now or haven't seen one of my live streams before, this for me has to be the Battle of Theed on Naboo. I remember watching the trailer for this game and thinking, I have to play that battle, and as soon as I did in the beta, I wanted to buy this game. The main reason for me was probably Clone Wars. It's funny to think of that now. Theed to me is the perfect battle, with the droids pushing on the temple, leading to one epic finale in the throne room. I especially like this map when attacking, as each stage requires good teamwork, specifically the last 2 to overcome the defenders. This one builds up slow and finishes with a real gritty fight, which I always enjoy playing. A great map with good balance between infantry and vehicles outside, and good spawns throughout. I don't think I've ever played a match on Theed that I didn't enjoy. So with that all said, that is my list, all maps ranked from worst to best. I know you guys will probably have different lists to mine, so what I want to see in the comments is which map you think is the worst, and which one do you think is the best. I'll be interested to see those comments. As always guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
The Empire's time has come.